Good afternoon. I'm Gloria Nelson with Tug, and we're delighted to have you join us today for our Tug Connects 365 programming. As you settle in, and allow me to give a brief introduction for Tug, the usergroup.org, for both our current members and those of you who represent organizations that have not yet joined our online community of Infor distribution software users. Now, we've all heard that phrase that knowledge is power, and I can say unequivocally with great confidence that after today's presentation, you'll be waking up tomorrow with a little more of both. So, Tug webinars, online forums, and member events facilitate the timely exchange of ideas and information to help you work smarter and with more confidence. And no matter how you slice it, that's a powerful combination. If you're currently a member, it pays to get even more involved. And if not, please visit our website to discover why 2,300 heads are better than one to help you be the best at what you do. Now, before we get started, allow me to touch base for a moment on some housekeeping information. We'd like you to buckle up for about 15 to 20 minutes of content that's going to be shared, and we will be holding questions and answers to the end of the session of today's update with regard to what's happening in the world of facts. So please open your Q&A bubble, as that's where all of our questions are going to be addressed. And you can feel free to chat amongst yourselves as well if you want to visit with your neighbors virtually in the chat feature, which we will also be monitoring. So in addition, intellectual property, if you are here as a member, please feel free to go ahead and grab a screenshot, capture any text that someone might put in chat that might be helpful to you in your use of this application. And without any further ado, I am going to turn things over to Bill Vellante, who is the general manager of Compass Americas, and he's going to be taking us through a special update for Infor fax users today. I'm on the wrong slideshow. It's been one of those days, folks. So thanks so much for hanging in here with us. We had a little bit of a glitch at the onset. So I'm going to say, Bill, go ahead and take it away. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Gloria, and thank you, everyone, for attending. My name is Bill Vellante, and I'm here with Kurt Stewart, and I'll introduce him as we go forward, as well as Robert Russell. They'll be introduced as part of this presentation. In my role, I'd like to talk today about fax and about an organization that's recently been established within Infor called Infor Compass. I want to tell you what it is, why it is, and give you the opportunity to ask some questions along the way as well. Next slide, please. From my background has been with Infor for about 6 years. I started out heading up our global HCM practice, and after working through that and Infor actually setting up some regionalization, I was asked to be responsible for some of our banking and service businesses. And then when Compass was established, really this past summer, we've been working diligently, and we go online on the 1st of January officially. And so very thrilled and pleased to be heading that group up within the Americas. Here's what I want to do today. I'd like to talk about our vision for the future for fax, why Compass and what Compass is all about, and then via the Q&A bubble, you'll have the opportunity to ask some questions, and then Kurt, Robert, and I will be able to answer some of those questions as well, and we'll do our best. So first and foremost, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we stand for here at Infor. And you can take a look and read the slide, and you'll get a copy of the presentation behind the website anyway. But Infor, we believe that we stand for industry-specific cloud applications. We believe that deep functionality and deep knowledge within the industry is the type of thing that makes us unique. And it makes us unique on a competitive basis as well. Some of our competitors have a large monolithic capability, and their software is all things to all people, and other customers or other competitors actually have software that might be single tenant or non-multi-tenant. But we feel that at the end of the day, our competitive differentiator at Infor is that deep functionality. But we wouldn't be anywhere unless we had the success of our customers behind us. It's why we're here, it's why we're in business, and we wouldn't be here without you. And it's really important that we want to make sure that we understand that. We want to make sure you understand that we understand the fact that being our customers your success is in the forefront of what we do every single day. There's some other things that make Infor innovative and a little bit different, and that's our financial strength. The fact that we have now become a Coke company, and over the years we've acquired many companies. We acquired debt, and that debt is no longer, doesn't even exist anymore as part of a Coke company. So our financial strengths and our ownership structure allows us to be a little bit more creative than we've typically seen Infor in the past, and certainly much more creative than other software companies out there today. And I'll be talking about that, addressing that in this presentation. So if we can go to the next slide, talk a little bit more about our vision. You know, Compass was formed to be sure that we gave a prescriptive path to our customers. We really want to give a growth path to our customers because many of you have been with us for many, many years. We have some customers that have been here 30 years plus, and some want to move to modernized solutions. We'd love to have you move to modernized solutions, but Compass was formed to align the knowledge and the skills of our employees with the particular products that our customers have. You know, you can't be all things to all people, and so we've looked at how do we take the best employees with the most amount of knowledge for the products that they know and apply that and put those functions of those products and those people into an organization, which we happen to call Compass. And again, the reason for that is you can't be all things to all people. You can't have so many products that it doesn't make any sense, and you can't be as industry specific and as product knowledgeable as one can be unless we do that. And the other things that I think you'll see from us is you'll see and hear operational excellence. And if you don't receive operational excellence, we really want to know about that. Please call me, call Kurt, call Robert, call any of the folks that you may know in the industry side, like Dan Default. We want to know if you're experiencing anything below operational excellence, because that's what we're striving for. And with your help and with your feedback, we can get there. Additionally, you're going to see us operate with an applied economic thinking. And what we really mean by that is sensibility around economics. And it's a big thing that we continue to learn from Coke, and we continue to see more and more of. And actually, I'll touch base upon that a little bit further in another slide. So this is what the Compass organization looks like. It's headed up by Stu Applebaum. Stu's been here probably 10 plus years. He has a tremendous understanding and empathy for customers and for success and for outcomes for our customers. He's a great leader to have in this organization, and we're thrilled to be working for him. In addition to that, this is what the organization looks like. Now, Jason Floyd on the left-hand side, we're not going to talk a whole lot about Jason because he runs our hospitality business on a global basis. So unless we want to talk about hospitality today, we're probably not going to do a whole lot with Jason, but he's part of the organization. And then Andy and I are responsible for the go-to-market portions and many of the business units that fall within Compass. Andy internationally, myself in the Americas. And you can see some of the business units that are there as well. And then, of course, Kurt, who's also on the line, is really our COO, if you will. And he heads up our business operations, and he has a team of people as well. And on the next slide, let me get into a little bit more detail, and you'll see what we mean by this. This is something that we call our capabilities slide. And as I mentioned, Stu and Kurt are our head of operations as well as overall general manager. But Kurt has folks working for him that cover industry strategy. Finance people are part of our capabilities. And overall, our goals are to have a profitable business unit that maximizes value for our customers. And then if you take a look in the upper right-hand corner of what we call this wheel, you'll see that we have marketing people assigned to us. So we have marketing capabilities. Andy and myself with the go-to-market capabilities. There's a gentleman named Jaap van der Akker, and Jaap is based out of Belgium, but he has a whole team of people in the US as well as Asia Pac and in Europe that can handle the standards that we expect from consulting services and to help our customers out when they need when they need some consulting help. And in addition to that, Robert is a capability leader, and he oversees the development teams. He oversees the product direction, and makes sure that the products and the releases are up and running as we go forward. Next slide, please. You know, I want to talk a little bit about why Compass and how it came to be. And some of this is conjecture, but a lot of it is the logic behind it. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with this book. It's called The Innovator's Dilemma. It's a book written about 20 years ago by a gentleman named Clayton Christensen, who's no longer with us, but he was a Harvard professor, and I was exposed to this book maybe, I'd say 17 years ago. And some of the things in the book, when you kind of think back years and years ago to 2000, the year 2000, he talks about companies that don't have a place to go but get innovated on, and with no response. And some great companies have been usurped because of the fact that they don't have a place to bring their customers to. And when you think about it, he references things like digital photography. And if you were in the film business, you may not have a place to take your customers, but you have a loyal group of customers and a highly profitable business. If you're in phones and you had hardwired phones, and now all of a sudden everyone seems to have a smartphone, and not everyone has phones in their homes anymore that are wired. Or full service brokerage versus cell service brokerage. Things like greeting cards, they're e-cards now. If you didn't have if you're in the greeting card business, you probably had a ton of loyal customers, but if you never contemplated e-cards and you didn't have a digital mechanism to handle that, you could be usurped. Retail, we've seen what happened with retail, whether it's brick and mortar or now multi-channel or omni-channel, that's changed. Airbnb, Lyft, Uber, those things have come along after this book has been written. But the whole idea is that if you don't have a prescriptive way to bring your customers to the next level, a company could have great profitable businesses but become usurped because they're not ready to take their customers to the next place. And we think we have some great solutions to that. But if we look back maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, the message you probably got from Infor was, we want to take you to the cloud, and we want to take you to the cloud right away. And the driving factor for that was that we were thinking about going public at the time. And the valuation that you get from a public company is, if you're an on-prem business model versus a SaaS business model, is much less. And so we drove our sales force to go forward and bring it to the cloud. And we actually, in some cases you may feel cajoled a little too much or forced a little too much to get you to the cloud. And again, that's one of the reasons why we've defined Compass as an organization, to make sure that it's a well-paced move as opposed to a forced march. And I'll talk more about that in another slide or two. So how do we address the innovator's dilemma, and how do we get around this? And the good news for Infor is that we have a wonderful, loyal, profitable customer base, and we have a place to take our customers as well to the cloud. And usually I try not to read my slides, and folks that work for me will give presentations and try to say, hey, don't read your slides. But in this case, I'm going to read this slide. It's a quote from a gentleman by the name of Dave Robertson, and Dave is the CEO and COO actually of Coke Industries. And what Dave says is that because Coke is a privately held company, short-term constraints such as quarterly estimates and annual budgets aren't our driver. We are actually free to focus on long-term value for our customers. We want to think about our relationship with our customers, not on a quarterly basis, but on a longer-term basis. And we have shareholders who are eager to invest 90% of their earnings rather than paying out dividends. And I think if I remember the figure right, since 2003, Coke has invested just about $130 billion in Coke companies put back into those companies. And that's allowed Coke to outpace the S&P in terms of growth in orders of magnitude. but this helps us fund all sorts of new growth, but we have to do it in a responsible way. And so there's a different model that we want you to think about with Infor, which is investing in our customers, being with our customers over the long term, and being driven not so much by market capitalization, which a company that's going public might want to think about, but much more interested in the model that Coke has, which is a profitability model, a long-term profitability model. If we go to the next slide, this is actually the statement that I read earlier and the message that I read earlier is really defined very well in a book written by Charles Koch called Good Profit. And what we've learned being a Coke company now for a couple of years is that there are 8 principles that we adhere to. And these 8 principles are called market-based management principles. And some of them, I kind of smile, some of them are all the things that I learned and many of us learned in kindergarten. Number 1, you should be honest and have integrity. Number 5, you should have a lifelong quest for knowledge. Be humble, be respectful, and be the best you can be, right? Those are all the kinds of things that I think we've learned, and it's nice to see these are the values that Coke espouses for as well. But in addition to that, the piece that I want to talk about is this item number 3 called principal entrepreneurship. And the message here is that with our customers, over a long-term basis, we want to work and create something that we call the virtuous cycles of mutual benefit. And what that means is that we don't want to have a zero-sum game with our customers where one wins and one loses. We want to have virtuous cycles of mutual benefit, so that we want to run a profitable business, but we want to do it in a way that provides high value, the best possible value to our customers. And that's what our message is, and that's what our message encompasses as well to the FACTS community. So if we go to the next slide, what does it mean to you, our customers? And really what it means is that if you want to stay as is in your current environment, this isn't the kind of message where we say we're shutting off the product and you're on your own. What we want to do is we want to take you to a replatforming of the Cloud Suite application, or of the Cloud Suite, but we want to take you at the pace that you want to move to. And what we found, to be very frank, is that if we were to force our customers to move, typically there's a resentment factor that comes into play. Typically you go out into the marketplace and we may be evaluated, but there may be some resentment along the way. However, if we do this hand in hand and we do this arm in arm, it's the kind of environment where kind of bringing this all together, we don't want to have the innovator's dilemma. We want to have a solution for our customers in the long run, but we want to do this in a way that's paced to our customers. And if you're on that journey already and you're ready to move to the cloud and you're in flight right now to do that, we think that's fantastic. We think that's tremendous. We think that's wonderful. And if you're a quarter out or a year out or at some point in time out for making that move, that's okay. We're going to remain a good, loyal provider to you as a FACTS customer. And we want to make sure that you know that. And I believe that that's the conclusion of what I have to say today, and would love to hear any questions that you folks may have on the chat. Not in the chat, on the chat bubble.
Well, thanks so much, Bill. We're delighted also to see that Robert and Kurt are here. They're your trusted sidekicks that are the experts in all things that are FACTS related. So I do have a couple of questions that have populated. The first one is, I understand more about Compass. Who are the other groups within Infor, and what are their roles?
Sure, great question, thanks. So we have focused Infor on 5 different areas. Service industries, specifically healthcare, public sector, and other service industries, and there's a leader for that. Process and manufacturing and distribution, and there's a leader for that. Industrial manufacturing and international, as well as Compass. And so those are the 5 areas that Infor is focused on going forward. And Kurt and Robert, feel free to jump in and add to that as well if I missed anything.
Yeah, so maybe an example of where a distribution customer would be represented or would be managed between the process and distribution team versus the Compass team would be dependent on the solution that they're using. So let's just say that a customer is, spends 51% of their spend with Infor is on fax, and 49%, let's just say they're transitioning to cloud suite distribution. And while they get started, they would be managed with us. And then as you move to cloud suite distribution, you would be managed by that group. So really what we want to be able to do, and why this is so unique, is that our charge, as Bill said, is to do what's right for you. So if you want to stay on fax for another 2 years, it's our job to help you roadmap that out and transition it when you're ready. Not that we would say, okay, you're my customer and I need you to go to cloud suite distribution. It's a subtle difference, but I think it's going to be significantly better for our customers with this organizational model.
Okay, the next question is, what additional changes beyond Compass has Coke brought to Infor?
Yeah, that's another great question. Thanks. I think that I touched upon the fact that economic thinking is really part of what Coke is bringing to Infor. And the fact that we're being asked to really take a 360-degree view of any kinds of decisions that are being made, challenge those decisions in a positive, respectful way, and then have the opportunity to be able to make those decisions and act upon them, given the rights that any one employee might have to do that. So in many cases, you're seeing the delegation rights and the rights of employees to make decisions permeate throughout the organization, depending upon the size of those decisions and the impact of those decisions. But I think that's a big one that's come into play.
Yeah. The other thing I would say, just to add to that, Bill, would be the concept of longer term thinking. Whereas most software companies, and quite honestly, a lot of businesses, not just software, are thinking quarter to quarter, especially publicly traded companies. They've got a number, they've got a hit. I've got these goals that I need to hit for this quarter, and decisions are made based on that quarter alone, and maybe one quarter out. What we now have the ability to do is to sit down with a customer and say, hey, let's look at this longer term. Let's look at a 5-year horizon. Let's look at a 10-year horizon and decide what's best for both parties, going back to that concept of mutually beneficial. So if it's good for you and it's good for us, then it's something that we need to be looking at, and not just in a 90-day box.
Okay, the next question is, will fax tech support remain the same for Infor direct customers for Compass?
And go ahead, Robert. Why don't you take that one?
Yeah, I take that one. So yes, the intent is all, the people that you're used to interfacing with and dealing with on a daily basis from customer support would not change under Compass. Those people will be, assigned to the Compass organization. So they'll continue going forward.
Sure. Let's see, there's a follow-up to that. It says, we've been told that annual maintenance fee monies go towards development. So will the development be towards CSD as there is no longer a fax development team?
So, Bill, you got something you want to go there?
Yeah, sure. So, as far as fax goes, going forward, the product is maintained. We make sure that there's no bugs in the product, and there is a large component of balance that goes into that. I think that's part of the economic thinking, is that if you want to remain on fax, we're there to support you on fax. And I think that if you want to move to re-platform the product, then you can do that. I think that, you know, maintenance dollars are fungible. You know, they go all over the place. And so I wouldn't say that we take all of our funds and it goes one way or the other. It goes into a complex fashion of everything from office space to paying employees and compensating employees the right way so that there's no turnover, to making sure there's the right amount of support in place as well. But I don't think that there's a one-to-one correlation of every maintenance dollar that goes here goes into another bucket.
Yeah, and despite the 5 different business units with the 5 different P&Ls, et cetera, it's still one Infor. So Infor Compass isn't its own entity, just like the process and distribution isn't its own entity. It's still one Infor.
Okay, next question is, does Compass replace the channel partners role in moving fax users to the new ERP?
It does not. You'll still have channel people and probably some of the similar channel people that you deal with right now.
Yeah.
We depend on our channels to take care of our customers, and we expect that to be.
Oh, no. You didn't kick me out. Oh, I wasn't. No, I don't need it. I'm good.
Hey.
I'm good. Thanks.
Also, there is a question from one of our channel partners that says, will there be a development roadmap for fax?
If there is, there isn't one today, so we're not expecting one in the future, unless there's some type of a driven economic reason to do that, which we don't see right now.
Okay, I don't have any questions that have populated now. Again, we're kind of at a standstill. So what I'd like to do is, Bill, if someone wants to reach out for more information to either advance in terms of an upgrade or to have additional questions answered about the future of fax, what's the best method of them contacting someone? Channel partner, if they're working with one, you know, your support team, what's the best way to get some answers if they have any as they continue to move forward?
Yeah, I'd say continue to work with your channel partners, but feel free to send me an email or pick up the phone on any one of us, Robert, Kurt, myself. We're our names, with a dot between our names at infor.com.
So it's BILL.VELLANTE at infor.com?
Yep, just like it shows on the screen.
Okay, great.
With a dot in the middle at infor.com.
Wonderful.
Tim's coming back and asking another question. He says, would fax be upgraded if SSL/TLS issues require a new Providex version?
That's not a good one for me. That's not a good one for me.
Is that above your pay grade, Bill? That's what I want to know.
That's what I want to know.
It's above my technology grade for sure.
So I think almost everybody here on this thing, this is new to all of us.
This is new to all of us.
We're all got to look at the facts and the technology footprint. So that'll be something that'll be going on in the days or weeks to come. So yes, looking into the specifics of the technology associated with fax will be one of the specific things that we'll do to determine if there are particular time-sensitive projects or activities that need to be done to mitigate risk associated with those. So that'll be something that'll be my responsibility over the next weeks or months. Probably weeks. Just understand better about what facts on the technology footprint.
Well, that was a good in-depth answer. Appreciate that, Robert.
Appreciate that, Robert.
Nice to see both of you and Kurt join us today. I did have a question that was posted with respect to where someone wanted to go back to slide 3 and for time's sake and to keep within our time frame and window. I want to let you know that the PDF is going to be behind our membership login wall. Tony Kennedy is going to make that available for your reference. So if you want to see a slide that was shared, that will be helpful to you, it will be posted the members-only
on
forum.
the members-only
And
forum.
so, on that note, we don't have any additional questions. So
Well, I haven't
first,
really been
allow me
looking
to
at
say,
any data
allow me to
of what
say,
you sent me,
Bill,
Robert
but
and
yeah,
Kurt, thank
on
you
the
so much for
tax
joining us
stuff.
today. And also
joining us
everyone
today. And
else
also
who is
everyone
part of our
else
digital
who is
audience
part of our
today.
digital
Thank you for
audience
taking
today.
the time out
Thank
of
you
your
for
busy
taking the time
schedules
out
as
of your
well.
busy schedules
Now,
as
this
well.
presentation,
Now, this
because of the
presentation,
sensitive nature
because
and
of the sensitive nature
confidentiality, is
and
going to be behind our
confidentiality is going to
membership
be
wall
behind our membership wall
Typically, as
exclusively.
you know, we post those
Typically, as you
in
know,
1
we
to 2
post those
business
in 1
days.
to 2
Now,
business
our
days.
next webinar is
Now, our
actually
next
going to be
webinar
this
is actually
afternoon
going to
for
be
our
this
A+
afternoon for our
users.
A+
Sorry about that first
users.
slide,
Sorry about
gentlemen.
that first slide, gentlemen.
And if you know
And
anyone in
if you
your
know
sphere
anyone
All right,
of
so I
in your
probably
sphere
need to
of
rerun
friends,
some of
reach out to
the,
them,
so I
ping
was
them,
running
remind them,
categories
that's going to
and
be taking place
that's
at
product.
2
going to be
o'clock
taking
p.m.
I
place
on
at
probably
2
need to
sometime
o'clock
redo
today.
all
p.m.
that.
sometime
Otherwise,
today.
our next webinar is
Otherwise,
going to
our
be
next
Tuesday
webinar is going
next
to be
week, 2
Categories and
Tuesday
p.m. with
next
product.
week, 2
Zeno.
p.m.
They're
with
going to be talking
Zeno.
about
They're
all
going to be
things
talking about
commerce
all
and
things
planning for
Okay,
commerce
your
I can
and
future.
rerun
planning
that.
for your
So watch your
future.
inbox, and
So watch your
also we
inbox, and
always have our
also we
upcoming
always
Yeah,
have
I'm
our
glad you
upcoming
said something because
content
I
for
would have never
concierge
known.
calendar site,
concierge
as well
calendar
as our
site,
tug
as well
calendar,
as our tug
and
calendar,
on our
and
landing page
on
under
our
the
landing
education
page
tab.
under the
So
education
without any
tab.
further
So
ado, we'd
without
like to
any
invite
further ado, we'd
those of
like
you
to
who are
invite
members of
those of
TUG
you
to
who are
please
members of
continue
TUG
this
to please
discussion in our
continue this
online
discussion in
community
our online
for members
community.
only.
For
And also
members
for those of you
only,
who
and
aren't
also
members
for
yet,
those of
I
you who
always
aren't
say,
members
why
yet, I
not?
always say,
So please
why
visit
not? So please visit
www.usergroup.org and join us
www.usergroup.org
today.
and join
And
us today.
one more
And one
reminder,
more
just
reminder,
like they
just
always do
like
in
they
Apple
always do in
staging.
Gotcha.
Apple staging.
There's one more thing.
All right,
There's one
If
more
you
appreciate it.
haven't
thing.
already,
If you
please make
haven't
sure that you
already, please
save
Okay,
the
make sure that
date
you
all right.
save
or
the
go
date
online. We have
or go
registration
online.
that's
We
now
have
open for
registration that's now
Tug
open
Connects
for Tug
2022
Connects
at the
2022
lovely
at the
Diplomat Beach
lovely
Resort in
Diplomat Beach
Hollywood Beach,
Resort in
Florida.
Hollywood Beach,
And
Florida.
we would love to see you all
And
there.
we
We
would
know
love to see
everyone
you
is
all there.
eager to
We know
meet face to
everyone is
face.
eager to
And
meet
so
face
on
to
that
face.
note,
And so
speaking
on
of
that note,
Hollywood, I'm going to
speaking of
say as they
Hollywood,
say in
I'm going to
Hollywood,
say as they say in
that's a
Hollywood,
wrap.
that's a wrap.